Welcome back to Good Morning Wilmington. Look, I'm super excited of my next guest. I don't want to call him guest. He's a family member. He's my brother from another mother. Jason Aviles, of the CEO, the founder, the creator, the love of Fly Yogi is in the building here on the plaza. What's up, Jay?
Word, what's good?
What's good?
What's good? I want to reach over there and give you a hug.
I know. This is so, we talk about full circle, but man, we started together.
That's a fact.
We started together.
Yeah.
We started, and I'm talking about when Jay first moved down here, right? Fly Yogi was what was just beginning.
Yes.
You left for a minute and came back with Fly Yogi.
Yes, that's a fact.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Like when you came to Delaware and all that.
Yeah. So I originally came to Delaware in 07, 08.
Right.
And at that time, I had professional experience working with kids. And that was like my thing.
You was with Jim Hernandez.
Yes. Shout out to Jim. Shout out to Pigeon of New York, his NFT movement. He's in Miami right now, getting ready to head to Atlanta, still doing big things.
Yeah.
One of my best friends from high school, and he was the one who brought me out here in 07, 08. And at the time, my experience, my focus was working with kids. And I started out substitute teaching, and that led me to working in Marion T Academy, which is now where Logan is with the Teen Warehouse.
Yeah.
At the time, that was an elementary school, and I was a part-time substitute teacher there. And my work just continued. It led me to going upstate New York, and I was counseling in a maximum security youth prison.
And how old were you when
this was in 2009. So what were we in 2023? And I'm 39. I can't do the math on that, but I was a lot younger. And I just kept doing that work.
Right.
And where the stop sign kind of came ahead was in 2011. I was working at Bancroft, right over there on East Side, as an in-school suspension teacher.
Okay.
And after all this experience, roughly 9 years of experience professionally working with kids, I felt like I was failing them. I felt like no matter where I went, we weren't really addressing the root causes and problems of the issues that they were facing.
Right.
Yet we were so quick to slap these labels onto them and
give
call
them
them this and call them that.
Yeah.
And that's when medication started to really get integrated and incorporated in the schools. And I was one of the people on the front line of watching the medication and the side effects of it. And I felt like I needed to find an alternative way to help them.
Right.
And in turn, as I began to process that, I equally realized that I was suffering from some of the same issues that they were going through.
Wow, so it was like self-reflection moment.
So what I really needed to do was address those unresolved issues within myself.
Okay.
And my logic was, if I address those issues within myself, in turn, I would be able to find a solution for them.
Right.
And in 2011, I left Delaware, I left my life as it was, and I went to a consciousness-based education university in Iowa called Maharishi University of Management.
So you take this young brother from New York.
That's a fact.
From New York.
That's a fact,
right?
That's
Move
a fact.
him to Delaware.
Yes.
And then you go to
Iowa. Yes.
The only black things in Iowa are the crows and you. Okay?
So listen, this school was literally surrounded by cornfields. And at the time, the only thing I knew that came to mind when I thought of corn was Children of the Corn. And it was one of the scariest movies of my childhood.
Yes.
My mother thought I was going through a midlife crisis.
And you was young.
Yes. She was like, Jason, are you sure? You have your job, you're in a school, you have a house, you have a car, you have a motorcycle. You sure? You want to flip the script and leave everything.
Totally flip.
And go to Iowa. And
to what school?
Maharishi University of Management. And what was even crazier was how I found the school. I was on Facebook.
Right.
And they were running an ad right along the side as I was scrolling. And I clicked on it because it said consciousness-based education. Now, mind you, I had never heard of the word consciousness. I still can't even spell it to this day. But when I clicked on it, the school was talking about all organic vegetarian dining, meditation, yoga, breathing exercises. I mean, this whole lifestyle approach towards self-awareness and personal growth. And it was that really kind of like inspired me to say, let me look into this.
Right,
And as a
right.
result of looking into it, I said, this is where I need to go. This is where I need to be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And so you went, and I remember. So what was it like? You're there, right? What was the hardest part for you? Because I remember at that point you weren't vegan.
No.
You weren't.
Yes.
You weren't vegan. You wasn't practicing yoga.
Nope.
We were running around Wilmington,
Yes.
we doing vision board parties, hustling.
Yes.
And we were doing everything,
Yeah.
trying to find ourselves and
Absolutely.
find the meaning of why we exist. And your path led you to Iowa.
Yes.
All right.
That's a fact.
Was it Idaho?
Iowa. Yeah.
And then I remember you came back. And when you
Yes.
came back with a new consciousness
Word.
and fly yogi.
Yeah. Yeah.
What was the hardest transition or one of the moments that really stuck out to you while you were there?
I think the biggest thing for me while being there, especially after year one, mind you, I went in, I was 285 pounds. I was the heaviest I had ever been my whole life. And that was a result of just accumulating stress over time and not having a healthy way to really deal with it. And in less than 6 months, I lost 100 pounds.
And this is diet, exercise.
This is diet and it's yoga.
Okay.
So what was different about this environment at the school was that you were surrounded around like-minded people who prioritize personal growth and development. And the school had integrated meditation and wellness into the academic learning curriculum. So this wasn't like your average school where you're just studying like liberal arts and things like that. Like, no, you meditated in class before you went to lunch and before you left for the day. The dining was 100% vegetarian and organic. You were surrounded around people who were studying and taking a deep dive into holistic medicine, into wellness, into yoga. So it was a combination of me learning these things and then being in an environment that was so radically different that the way in which it influenced me really allowed me to kind of progress at an accelerated rate. One of the most difficult times I had after being there, after year one, was accepting who I was.
Meaning?
Well, at that time, going into there, a large part of my identity was the Black and Hispanic male from the Bronx. And when I got into that environment, I started to take a deeper dive into who I really am.
Right.
And I started to really gain this sense of purpose. And what I found was that consciousness and self-awareness was just as important to me as being fly,
Right.
you know, being from the streets and hustling and grinding. And for a while, I didn't think that I would be accepted by the people that knew me
Right.
as the Black and brown Hispanic man from the Bronx, because now I'm vegan.
Right.
Now when we go out to eat,
Right.
I mean, iceberg lettuce and $1,000 dressing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now I'm practicing yoga, which in the male Black community is frowned upon and it's
Yeah.
looked down as a feminine practice. So
Yeah.
here goes a man who went through this amazing transformation, but I didn't know if the people that knew me as I was were going to accept me.
Right.
And I had to go through this internal process of really coming to terms with whether or not I could have the confidence and the conviction to tell the world and to show the world that, yes, I still am Jason from the Bronx. I'm still hip. I still got swag.
Yeah.
I'm still fly. But at the same time, consciousness, self-awareness, and health is super important to me, and I'm going to be unapologetic about expressing that. And that process was super difficult.
Yeah, and now that the process it completed. Now I'm
Yes.
not going to complete it because everything's still a process.
Yeah.
You know, you come back with fly yogi.
Yes.
Yeah,
and fly yogi is literally that.
Yeah.
To be fly is to be confident and comfortable in your unique self-expression. To
Right.
be a yogi is to be dedicated and committed to the path of yoga or personal growth and development.
Yeah.
Fly yogi is literally the byproduct of my internal process
Yeah.
of finding the conviction to be myself.
Right.
And that's what I realized most people are looking for. People are looking to find the conviction and the self-acceptance to say, this is who I am.
Yeah, and so in your journey, are you see that with people?
Yes.
Right. That they're trying to find themselves.
Yes.
They're being convicted because when you're here in the United States, right, you got food, you got the music, you got everything that influences, and we lose self.
Yes, absolutely. In the process of gaining the things that we think will complete or make or define ourselves. And what
Right.
I learned during those 3 years that I spent at college was that only you can define yourself. And a lot of that and what you gain in terms of self-awareness comes from within.
Right.
Now, we use things that happen outside of ourselves to really refine that, but ultimately, it's up to you to make that decision. And what I'm realizing now is that that's what most people have the difficulty doing. It's saying, you know what, regardless of where I come from, regardless of what people think, regardless of what social media is telling me, this is me. I'm Ivan Thomas. I'm the talk of the town. I'm 200% positivity all the time. And I've realized, even witnessing you and your journey, not really knowing the details of what that looked like, but I watched a shift within you. I watched you build that incremental courage over time where you got to a point where you were like, hey, listen, this is me, take it or leave it. And I think it was in that conviction that you began to attract the opportunities that really began to push you in your purpose, man.
And I'm going to say the plan, the blueprint that the grand architect has put in front of us is the plan. You have to be broken first.
Word.
Right? You have to be broken.
Yes.
And at that point, and we were cool before you became Fly Yogi, and we are cool today. Now, there was a moment that when you went to school that you were broken somewhere, and I went this way, and I was broken somewhere, and then now we're back here. And in that being, that brokenness is the time of that being self-aware, that discipline. The hustle has changed. Everything is different, and then you realize meaning of life.
Yeah. I think in the brokenness, there's an opportunity for a breakthrough.
All right.
And I think in going through a breakthrough, you don't have the convenience nor the luxury to not pay attention to the things that need to be addressed. When you are broken, you are going to be forced to address the issues that are creating the situation and circumstance at hand that's affecting you negatively.
So that mindset. Let's talk about the mind. That mindset in the middle of that, in the beginning or middle of that breakthrough. And then being broken. Like, what should that mindset be? Because someone might be watching this right now and be like, yo, I'm right there. Because finding self in the middle of family, work, health is a hard thing to do. What mindset would you recommend that people need to have, obtain, get, keep while being broken?
You have to reassure and reaffirm yourself that you are not going to be defined by what you're going through, and that what you're going through is on purpose to get you to where you want to be, to get you to be the person you want to become, to get you to accomplish the goals that you want to set. And we had a conversation right before airing this about the journey, the process. Oftentimes when you're in the journey, the only thing you're thinking about is the outcome, right? It's the end game, right? And then you miss all the gems along the way because your eye and your mind is so focused on what you want to receive. What I would say is you have to be present with yourself more than you've ever been when you're experiencing a breakthrough, because it's that time where you're going to be called to give your complete energy, focus, and attention to those parts of you that are broken. And if you do that, if you have the courage to do that, and you come out of that, in hindsight, you will look back and say, damn, where would I be if I didn't go through that? Like, where would I be? Would I have this understanding of self? Would I have DETV? Would I have Fly Yogi if I didn't go through what was necessary? Because what I went through is now my testimony that has become my business that creates what I experience and the results of it for others.
I love it. Now this is the perfect segue into your business.
Yes, let's get into it.
Green Box.
Yes.
The Urban Yoga Project.
Yes.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about how did Green Box? What is Green Box? Where did that? Again, you come back and you start seeing kids pushing a green box on a bike. Again, we're doing something that wasn't practical, that no one was doing, right? That wasn't being accepted. But here you go, just pushing. You develop that effort attitude, right? And say, nope, this is the plan. And now you went from Iowa to Fly Yogi to everything that when you was teaching, now implementing into kids with Green Box. Am I correct? All right, let's talk about Green Box.
So Green Box Kitchen was a byproduct of our nonprofit, Wilmington Green Box. And it's as simple as this. When I moved back, I was vegan. And I lived in downtown Wilmington. And it was crazy because no matter where I can go, I couldn't find access to healthy food. Like, we still don't, even to this day, have a grocery store in downtown Wilmington. And I didn't have a car. Right. So if I wanted fresh food, real food, I would have to walk to ShopRite, or I would have to walk to Adams 4 over on 4th Street. And that was a real problem. Then I started to do the research, and I realized over 60% of Wilmington is categorized as the food desert, which means that over 60% of the people in Wilmington live more than 1.5 miles away from direct access to healthy food.
And what does that mean? What does that mean long term for the kids? Like, what does that mean for them?
Let's get into it. So long term, this is what it means, and this is very important to mention as well. Not only in these communities do you not have access to healthy food, but you have an abundance of access to unhealthy food. Mm-hmm. You got liquor stores, you got corner stores, and you got Chinese restaurants full of processed, refined, highly sugared food that aren't good for you, right? So take these two problems, lack of access of the stuff that you need and abundance of access to the things you don't need. That's a recipe for disaster, internal, holistic disaster. And now we know, because the science has shown, that when you eat poorly, it affects your comprehension ability in the classroom. When you don't have a household that's full of not just health in body, but health in mind, because you lack that awareness, because your environment doesn't have that, that starts to affect and influence your spirit. That starts to affect and influence how you show up in life behaviorally. And science is now showing that there's a real connection between all these different things, between the mind, the body, and the spirit. So it was going through that experience and realizing that my community was suffering that I said, all right, we got to do something. Right. You know, I met John Naughton. Shout out to John Naughton Payton, half of Green Box Kitchen. And we decided to take this push cart and some kids and fill it with healthy food and go into the community and bring the healthy food to them.
How was it received?
At first, people were like, hell no.
Right.
We want our 50-cent sodas, our tasty cakes, and our French fries with hot sauce, salt, pepper, and ketchup, right? Yeah. We don't want the cold-pressed watermelon juice in the mason jar that costs $4 or $5. We don't want the bananas, we don't want the kale, we don't want the avocados.
And you was pressing your own stuff.
What? From scratch, And that was because that was some of the things that I had learned when I was in college, Being vegan, cold pressing juice and making smoothies was a part of my lifestyle. I mean, that was a part of my morning protocol. And at first, people were like, hell no. It took us 3 years of being on the ground, doing that work, educating people in the communities that eating healthier was better for them than not, before people actually began to receive it well. So we went 3 years being unnoticed. We went 3 years really not experiencing any results, nothing but doubt, nothing but negative feedback to a certain extent. But it was after that time that we spent investing in a community that people were like, hold up, I'm seeing the effects of this. Yeah. How do I become healthier? How do I get access to these healthy goods on a more consistent basis? And that's why we created Green Box Kitchen. It was literally to fill the void that the community was expressing to us. We wanted to give people access to these healthy foods on a more consistent basis.
Now, how many locations of Green Box do you have?
So Green Box Kitchen, one location on the corner of 4th and Market, 400 North Market Street, our brick and mortar location. That's been here from the beginning, and we've been open now for about 4.5 years.
Yeah, I love the vegan waffles.
Yes, awesome.
And the chickpea
tuna sandwich.
Amazing.
Crazy.
Love it. And then do you have something else? Do you have another location?
No, so we just have that location for now. Okay. We're all online, so we just launched our own product, our own bottled cold pressed juices, 100% cold pressed USD organic, that we're shipping nationally right now. So we're shipping out juice cleanses to people in Cali, people in Chicago, people in New York. So we've been able to expand and go vertical product wise.
I'm super proud of you, man. Just watching.
Yo, listen, I'm proud of you too, man. and you know it's coming from the heart, because listen, this journey, and not many people can say this, we've been a part of, even when we weren't necessarily a part of each other's lives. We were able to witness it, and now we can sit here in DETV studios and talk about life.
No, what y'all don't understand is, back when we first started, we were hungry. And I'm not talking about to be successful. We were hungry because we ain't have no money. You know what I mean?
We had food at times.
Right. Yo, and you was vegan when you came back, and it was like you said, you couldn't eat everything. Yes. we had a mission, we had a goal, and we had a dream. And where we are right now, I'm super proud just to be a paragraph, a sentence in your biography, right? Because you damn sure is one in mine, bro. So and so I want to also talk about the urban yoga program. I looked up the other day, right? And one, I remember joining your men's program.
Shit, years ago. Listen. I don't think you realize this. Listen, we're gonna find that picture and pull it up at some point. Listen, I've been teaching yoga professionally for 10 years.
Right.
It was before that.
It was before that.
So we talking 11, 12 years ago.
Dog, man.
You in the space with me doing yoga.
And if I remember correctly, it was down there where Blitzen was, wasn't it?
It was Herm. Shout out to Herm. At the time had a space called Mint right on 9th Street between Tatnall and Orange. And he allowed me to do donation-based men's yoga classes there for free. And you were a part of that. 12 years ago.
12 years ago. We was at the coin loft before with the first coin loft.
Yes.
And then trying to doing vision board parties. And we had a good turnout.
Yes.
We had a great turnout. Oh, man. And then now, okay, I look up, I'm scrolling through, and I see, I got to give a crazy shout out to Renata. I love Renata.
Shout out to Wilmington Alliance. Big props to Wilmington Alliance for like getting behind something so new, so innovative for our community and for men. They saw it and they said we want in, and they've been a huge partner in all this.
And I'm not surprised. I had last year I did Dancing with the Stars with Renata.
Word.
You didn't see it?
Nah, I didn't see it.
You didn't see that?
They try to get me to do it this year.
Oh,
I'm like,
do it.
Do it. Yo, listen, my rhythm ain't really down.
Your rhythm ain't rhythming, yo.
I got to be yogaing for a couple of months to get real right.
Do it.
I'm thinking about it.
I'm gonna show you the video, right?
All right.
So Renata and I do Dancing with the Stars, and in that Renata and I found self. We found each other. Wow. We became friends, right? I was pushing her, she was pushing me, but at the end of the day, we were happy when the dance was over. Dog, Renata's my girl. That's and in that, Renata and I always had talks about nonprofit and so on and just watching what she has done with the Wilmington Alliance and having you on board, it doesn't surprise me, you know? And then I look up and then I'm scrolling and I'm like, yo, that's dope. So talk to the people about that partnership and what that program is.
Yeah, so the Urban Yoga Program is an 8-week comprehensive program for men that's designed to prepare them to be a better version of themselves. And the way in which we do that is we use the knowledge and practice of yoga as the framework. So we're tackling the mind through meditation, we're tackling the body through nutrition and exercises, through integrating these different poses, postures, and stretches. We're tackling the emotional state of men through creating a safe space and an outlet for us to be able to express ourselves and to feel that support system. We're tackling goal setting by understanding yourself deeper, and from that place, establishing your purpose and setting a vision for yourselves, and then building goals around that, and then building a pathway to get there. So this program is comprehensive in every sense of the word. It is technically everything that I've experienced as a man that has beneficial to me built in a program to be able to offer that experience, those tools, those techniques, and that practice to men in real time. It is super special to my heart, and it's why it's taken me 12 years to develop, because I wanted to make sure as a man, I was in a place where I could hold that space and really be able to offer value for men. And we just finished our first cohort. It went absolutely amazing. Shout out to the 12 men that went through that program. I mean, it's 8 weeks, it's intense, but they all came out shining, man.
I love it. I love it. And with that, you said it took 12 years to build, right? Yeah. You had to get yourself straight before.
And I still got work to do.
We all got work to do.
Yes.
We all let's get that straight. We ain't none of us perfect.
Yeah.
But doing it helps us to strive for perfection.
Yes. You said something earlier. You said, you know, we had this support system when we were going through our days when we were struggling, right? And what I've been really thinking about recently is that, more importantly, not only do we have the ambition, the vision, the idea, the goals, the dreams, but we had each other.
Yeah.
And what I'm learning now is that that's what's missing, right? As we get older and as we get more ambitious, we get more busy, right? We get more productive. We start producing more results, but we miss out on that time that we can spend with each other to really just support each other on a real level, on a spiritual, personal level. So this men program is an opportunity to pour into men in that way. It's
Yeah.
to reintroduce that support system for the purpose of growing and evolving.
Tell people where they can sign
Yes.
up, where they can register the next cohort. Give them the
Yes.
information.
Yes.
That's your camera.
Okay. So on Instagram, very simple. Go to Urban Yoga Program. Our email is urbanyogaprogram@gmail.com. The program is starting on January 16th. It's a Tuesday, and it's ending on March 7th. It takes place on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. for 8 weeks, starting on January 16th. If you are looking to enroll yourself as a man into a program where you can come out transformed, go to urbanyogaprogram.com and RSVP now. This is the first time publicly I'm announcing it, and slots are going to fill super duper quick.
Yes, they are. So if you're men dealing with diabetes,
Everything.
mental space,
Yes.
What else?
Physical, right? You want to address your physical health. If you're looking for a safe, supportive environment to be around like-minded men so you can share and get some of that stuff that you've been bottling with inside, it's going to be able to offer you the opportunity as well.
All right, Jay, tell people where they can follow you.
Yo, you can follow me at Mr. Jason Aviles on Instagram. And if you Google me, you'll see everything else. You'll probably see some pictures of Big Ive, too.
And you see, and you get some awesome messages by Jay as well that keep people motivated and going. Brother, thank you so much again.
I appreciate
it's
you,
an
man.
absolute
I
pleasure, man. And
proud of you.
I love you, fam.
I love you too, yo.
Oh my God, it's just full circle. I'm about to tear up, man. Because it's just crazy. This is things, and this is what you read about or you hear about from somebody, you know, like in LA.
Yeah.
You know, but we here. This is our own LA. What's up, everyone? It's your main man, Big Ive, the talk of the town, Mr. DETVCH.com, and I'm here with my wonderful and amazing co-host,
Vincenza.
We just stopped by to tell you to be sure, if you want any information on what's going on in Wilmington and to meet some dynamic people doing some amazing and great things, be sure to watch us live on Good Morning Wilmington on Mondays and Wednesdays at 10 p.m.
Oh, Ivan, 10 a.m.
Which he said, 10 a.m.
Listen to me. That's why he has me here. But yes, tune in live, 10 a.m. Monday and Wednesday on Good Morning Wilmington.
DETVCH.com.